Hey everyone, I hope this finds you well. So here in the UK it is May Day, and all over the country there's May Day celebrations. So I got back from camp and I thought, what would be really wonderful is to be able to share with you guys some after camp thoughts, kind of extract some of the wisdom from the experience over the last few days, and kind of share with you some of the thoughts of what I've experienced. So I've headed out not far from home to the traditional May Day celebrations. I caught the last throes of it, which was really beautiful, and what an incredible May Day. So let me just show you where I am. You'll get a sense of how beautiful it is here. It's a field of maize, and you might not be able to see, but over in the distance is the church, and opposite the church is a very old inn, and then you've got the village green, and there was the May Day celebrations there. And what I really kind of find wonderful is those May Day celebrations and traditions are still upheld to this day, and I think they're very they are very special, because if you kind of look at what they represent, what we're celebrating is the kind of fertility of the land is being celebrated. And in kind of days like today, you really get a sense of that. Everything is absolutely full of life, and the land has really truly woken up. Everything's becoming kind of green and full of life, so you're celebrating the fertility of the land. And that was hugely important to our ancestors and to the farming communities up and down the country and all around the world. There's going to be different take on those traditions and those kind of cultural approaches, but not only was it kind of celebrated in a kind of ritualistic or a spiritual aspect, but it was the human experience of bonding and bringing together community, and bringing together the community for the work that was ahead, and for the farming community, and to kind of unite that community for all the hard work that was ahead, and to kind of celebrate that. And I think those traditions are hugely important, and I'm hoping that they never get lost. May they evolve and grow and change shape, but may they never be lost. And I think nowadays community is becoming even more important, and that's what all of this is about for me. Why do I share what I share? Because I believe in community, I believe in sharing, I believe in passing down the wisdom through the generations, so to speak, and that's what we're talking about. And this weekend, so we're looking at after camp thoughts, this weekend for me has been the experience and the wisdom and the knowledge that's been shared down through the generations. And that's something that I said about Easter camp that I really took from that camp, is the wisdom that was being passed down. And from Easter, all right the way up to this time, I've tried to kind of create time to be able to help in ways that I can down on that beautiful piece of woodland, to be able to kind of give back, be able to help in ways that I can, to add value, to say thank you. And I feel that in a way it's kind of really changed my relationship to the environment, to the woodland itself. I've always felt incredibly welcome there. Always felt connected, but there's a deeper sense of connection, and I think maybe it's because I'm kind of getting underneath the fabric of it. I'm in a way working with the land and becoming a part of it, so to speak, and literally dropping through the layers. And I know that when we talk about dropping through the layers, I know that Liam from Bushcraft Outdoors. I know something. Spoke with Matt, our good friend from Golden Glow, and also my dad talked about. We've all talked about at one time or another sit spots. So you just kind of sit and you drop into the landscape, and I've kind of experienced that at different times, and it's just something that's naturally happened. But something I kind of really witnessed with my dad when he was, working alongside him over these last few days, and helping in ways that I can, is that what I really noticed when he took a break, it's almost he consciously and it probably is just innate part of him, subconsciously he just kind of dropped into the environment and become incredibly still. And there was this experience where he said to me, look Shane, look what's going on around us. And there was this great tit had flown across the vegetable garden. I think it's about an acre, and so it's a large vegetable garden that's within the woodland. And this great tit had flown over, and it made its way into its home within the tree. There's a hole within the tree, and then you kind of see all these, see these butterflies dancing about, and you see these other birds coming and going. And then he said, look, and there was a crow watching everything. He was watching the comings and goings and comings and goings, comings and going. And Dad said, look, the great tit's flown out. Watch for when it comes back. It won't just fly back in. So it flown off, and a little bit of time passed, and then it come back, and what it done, it actually flew past its home, the tree, at the other side of the hedge line, up along the hedge line, back through, back round, really kind of quietly, and back into its home. Because what was happening was the crow was watching for where the birds were flying, where they had young, because the crow will take the eggs. And it was an incredible experience to see all these layers of activity, all these layers of life going on. And it's something that he's spoke about many times, but it's almost like I witnessed it with a fresh pair of eyes, and maybe because I was a little bit more immersed into the environment, that I could really greatly appreciate it. I know that it's something that Liam has said, and I've shared with Matt, about this sense of kind of just dropping into the landscape and dropping into the environment. And I've had those experiences at different times within my life, that where you just doing the work that I do, in a way you just drop into the fabric of where you find yourself, and you begin to hear it all. But this was different because it was not only feeling it, but it was seeing it and seeing it play out. So when I first arrived here, I was over at the May Day celebrations for a short amount of time. Incredible, amazing to see that. And it was this sense of something I've done year on, year out for the last few years, and it's a sense of, well, here we are, the wheel is turning again, and it's a sense of kind of orientation, or a sense of anchoring to time and place, something nice to kind of connect with a mark, so to speak. And when I come over here, come through this field and maze, a little trackway, and I'm on the edge of an ancient woodland. So there's an ancient woodland behind me. If you kind of look out towards the church, you've got the church, and you've got the green, and then you've got this ancient pub where the May Day celebrations were kind of happening. So you had traditional Morris men, you had a maypole, all in front of the plough pub, the plough. Okay, so all the clues are there, within the environment, all the stories are there, and it's just us unpacking them and unpicking them. Again, it's dropping underneath the layers. So I come over to the ancient woodland, and I've sat here for a little while, and you can just smell this very strong smell of ransoms again, wild garlic, and also every now and again you get this waft of bluebells. You know, it's just amazing. But I was sitting here for a little while before I kind of cut the video, and I was just consciously dropping in. So I was consciously dropping in, and everything just become at home, and I become very still. And then in the distance I heard this crow alarm call, and I thought to myself, okay, something's unsettled Mr. Crow, and I thought to myself, that was quite over this side of the woodland. Shortly someone's going to walk out the hedge. With about 2 or 3 minutes, this person with their dog come out through the hedge, and what it was, they were walking through the woodland quite loudly. They had the dog, so the dog was running around, and the dog and its owner had set off the crow. So, you know, this is a different experience, this different sense of awareness, which I feel is quite magical. So, you know, the woodland itself, spending those days there, also being around, you know, and working alongside and helping my dad in ways that I can, is, you know, what I've really took is, again, the importance of that kind of generational wisdom. And I think the older we get, the more we probably appreciate it. I know I certainly appreciate it the older I've got, and that richness and that goodness to it, you know, and it's such a gift. It is incredible gift, and you know, it's about for me passing that on in ways that I can. Yeah, I kind of really sensed over the last few days, you know, the woodland has always been really, really welcoming. And as I say, you know, some of those evenings I spent now went on a walk after dark, and yeah, I felt so kind of held. It felt welcoming, it felt friendly. You know, there was one evening where I'd come back from spending time at the top of the woodland with Dad, and I come down, takes a little while to kind of wander down, and I was camping up by the lake and the pond, and you know, as it was turning to twilight before I went to for the walk, these geese flew over and they circled the woodland, and then they circled the pond, and then they flew in. Well, the next evening, if by clockwork, exactly to the minute, the same thing happened. So you start to kind of get this understanding of the rhythm, of the pattern, the intricate and intimate kind of knowledge of the environment around you. And that's something all of you can do, is, you know, go to a woodland not far from you and just become aware of its routines, its rhythms, its patterns, its kind of intimate kind of flow. And I think there's something very special about that. I headed off up across the woodland up towards the top, and there in the hedgerow that particular evening was a hedgehog, and they're really kind of rare to see. You know, they're a beautiful sight, beautiful creatures, and they're quite rare to see this day and age. And you know, Dad has said in all the time he's kind of caretake the woodland, and all the years he's been there, he's never seen a hedgehog. So he's thrilled to bits as I shared the photo with him. You know, it's just really, really kind of special. And then I kind of the following evening I headed out, and as I'm walking up the track I look back over, and the North Star's there, the evening star, sorry, and there she is, you know. And for me, you know, it's a symbol that's kind of quite special and magical, because on many adventures have I spotted her in many places, and it was like being welcomed by an old friend that I hadn't seen for a while, because I hadn't seen her since last year around December time, I think it was, that I'd seen her. So it was just very, very special to see her there, and she become very clear in the western sky she was. And I think tonight, being as clear as it is, but where I am is more urban now, so the light pollution is going to be a lot different, but I will look out for her. But yeah, to see her was really, really special, and as I say, she's become this kind of quite a special symbol. So I think the last few days, you know, I can, you know, take so much. And as you know, Dad said, you know, he's sitting there and he's like, look what's going on. There was so much going on. As Matt says, you know, there's never nothing going on, there's always something going on, and that is so true. But how much do we see? How much do we spot? You know, quite often it just passes us by. You know, it was incredible to see, you know, especially that tit just fly around, and you can see the crow trying to watch and try and make everything out, and you're seeing the whole interactions going on. So I really take all of that from this weekend. The other thing that was really special to kind of see and be a part of is that the vegetable garden. There's a large plot of vegetable garden, you know, was being cultivated and rotivated and being prepared. So a sense of getting ahead, being prepared to sow green manure. So it's a seed that becomes a manure, and then what happens is kind of church bells. What happens is kind of late summer, harvest time, it's cut, and then it just kind of drops into the soil, and it can rot into the soil, break down into the soil, and then it's cultivated back into the soil, bringing a lot of rich nutrients and goodness to the earth, ready ahead of the next growing season. So, you know, I learned so much from this weekend, and you know, it's so special to kind of spend time with my dad in that way. Always, you know, I've been quite very blessed in this life to spend times with him. You know, and again, he's such a sharing, giving man, and as we go forwards, you know, he really wants to share some of his thoughts, and he walks a shamanic path himself, has done for many years. He's been a trained therapist for many years. He studied with some Peruvian shaman over in Peru, spent time with the Four Winds Society as well as kind of his own kind of journey with spirit directly. Many experiences. So I'm really looking forward to him sharing his knowledge and wisdom. Woodland's going to have its own YouTube channel as we go forwards, that he's going to kind of input in, and kind of in a way bring a diary of the year, and there's going to be different playlists in there, so that's very exciting. So I really look forward to sharing that with all of you as we go forwards. And the other thing I witnessed at the weekend, so there's a theme here, is one afternoon I come back, and again something very simple but yet very special. When I left in the morning to head up to the top of the woodland, my camp, so I had my tarp and my hammock, and Dad said, well, you're going to be gone a very you know, long time. You don't want to struggle when you come back to get a cup of tea on and be able to cook your dinner on the open fire. So, you know, watch this. And he got this very large log, put some little ones underneath it, and just sat it on top. When I come back, probably 8 hours later, okay, it was just smouldering. Okay, turned it on its side, put some brush in there, some twigs, some small pieces, put it together. Within a minute, had a fire. Within 5 minutes, I had the cast kettle on top of the fire. Within about 10 minutes, I was sitting down having a cup of tea. It's all the little things that you can learn from those around you that have built up a lifetime of experience, a lifetime of wisdom. And I think that's the thing, is that it's so beautiful to be able to kind of pass that down and be able to kind of share it. You know, amazing. So as I sat there and I'm having this cup of tea, I looked across the field and I thought, what's that in the middle of the field? And it looked like a small dog, and I thought, no, there's no way. It's a field full of sheep and young lamb. I looked again, I thought, my word, it's a fox. How brazen was this fox? And it was kind of scampering around the lambs and the sheep. But actually, the lambs, they're a lot bigger now, the lambs chased this fox off. And what was interesting, it went out across the right hand corner of the woodland. And there's just something else that has come to mind now, which I must share with my dad when I speak to him, was it come from the right hand side of the woodland. Now at Easter time, when we had all that rain and we had that wild camp and we hot tented in the bell tent with the wood stove, Dad and Liam had spotted a fox den, okay, and looking at geographically where this fox run off, it looks like that could be our fox. They spotted this fox den, and then later on we took the little ones to show them the footprints and the markings of the fox den. You can actually see where the fox has come out of its den and also returned back into its den. So that more than likely was their fox. Now what was interesting is there's certain times within the woodland that you can feel as if you're being watched from that corner, and the pennies just dropped. Well, maybe what's watching us actually is the fox, okay? And it's kind of quite a strong feeling, not uncomfortable, but a feeling of being watched. Sometimes it can be a little bit uncomfortable, or a little bit, as I say, as if spirit are there, but it isn't. It's not spirit. So the pennies dropped that possibly, and we don't know for sure, but possibly it's our fox watching us, because we're probably a lot louder than what he is, and he's probably just watching us. So something else to kind of share and see what the guys think. The other thing, last thing I want to share with you all, and I will put a clip within this video of the fox, and you're just gonna have to kind of just see if you can spot it, because the camera, I wasn't able to zoom in, but see if you can spot it. Last thing I want to share with you guys is the go bag. Now the go bag absolutely come into its own. So Friday when I left, I'd packed, and I will do a separate video on this, I'd packed my food, and as many of you saw and you'll see within the videos, I really did not go without, okay, but it all fitted in a side pocket on the Bergen, okay, which is a 10-litre side pocket, but I had 5 days worth of food in there, and I did not go without. It's just about packing smartly, choosing smartly. But the go bag, I literally picked it up Friday and walked out the door. When I come back yesterday evening, this morning I unpacked it, or I done some admin with it, okay, and it was 5 minutes. I just took out the clothes that needed to wash, dried out my wash kit, so you know I'm able to have a wash and a shave and a shower actually in the woodland. Unpacked my wash kit, let it dry out and cleaned it up. It took me 5 minutes, so about 10 minutes and that bag's going to be ready again to walk out the door. So those of you that are thinking what's he on about a go bag, make your life adventure ready. Another video, and I will put it into a link within this video as well. So a little bit of a longer video, but guys, these after camp thoughts I think probably are going to be probably worth their weight in gold. As I say, today I cycled up. I had a cold traditional lemonade as well, but it's nice to get out on the bike today and just kind of come down some of these country lanes up to the traditional May Day celebrations. But yeah, as we go forwards, we'll share the kind of the unfolding and the evolving nature of the adventures. And as I say, at some point as we go forwards, the woodland itself will have its own YouTube channel as well, which Dad's going to input into, and it's going to be spiritual as well as practical, educational, in sense of kind of the woodland and the land and growing your own food, and the spiritual aspect all woven together, which is going to be really exciting. So I'm going to leave that with you. You'll see some clips before this video is out, but enjoy, and I'll speak to you all soon. Take care, guys. Bye bye.